All right, Mark here, cooking books. Real quick. So I talked about why success isn't the best revenge and what is. And in this video, I just want to focus on what is the best revenge and why. Uh, Moving on, complete and utter moving on with your life and being happy is the best revenge you can ever have on anything, anyone. Just you being happy and moving on with your life. And the reason why that's the best is because it's so hard to do. Let's be honest, right? People will spend their put it like this. I know people, right? Both young and old, right? When I say young, I mean around my age, contemporary in 40s, and then those who I see people in their 60s, 70s, all the way up to their 70s, who hold, they become bitter. Like they grow old bitter. I've seen people who are bitter, like genuinely authentically bitter, and just completely their lives have been ruined by a breakup. That's the point I'm trying to make. Like I've seen people who have not moved on. You get what I'm saying? Like they have moved on, right? Because they're no longer in the relationship. But mentally, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, they are still holding on to incidents that occurred 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 1 year ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And it's as if the incident still exists today in their lives, right? Like their decisions, everything they're doing 20 years hence is based off what happened 20 years erstwhile, right? So it's interesting why I think this is why moving on is your best revenge, and that's your best success. If you can successfully move on, that's the best revenge, right? And this success is not materialistic. It's a internalization. It's an internal success where you can move on happily with your life. You can move on healthy in a healthy way. You can not only bounce back, but you can surpass where you were prior to the incident. So that's why I think your best revenge is to be able to move on with your life in a very wholesome, healthy, non-toxic kind of way, right? A lot of people cannot do that. Let me be very clear here. Just because you break up with somebody and let's say you break up with someone, you go through a divorce or whatever, and now you're dating other people and you're, put it like this. Moving on does not involve or engage, you do not engage in destructive behavior patterns, right? You don't say, okay, you moved on, but now you picked up other habits like drinking or smoking or being extremely promiscuous, which is what a lot of people do. I spoke about this in my last video. You can't get over people with people no different than you can't get over drugs with drugs. You can't get over drinking alcohol by drinking alcohol. You can't change the name of the beer can. You can't change the name of the drug. It's instead of crack, it's some other narcotic. At the end of the day, you cannot overcome an addiction or a habit with one bad habit with another bad habit. So, to successfully move on, right, to where you do not grow bitter, you do not grow miserable, you do not hate life, you do not hate people, you do not lambast and label everybody as the same. You move on. Look, here's successfully moving on. You move on, and all you take with you are those valuable, those priceless, those gem-like, crystal-like lessons, right? If you can move on and the only thing you're taking with you are the lessons, those are blessings, you have successfully moved on. But most people don't do that. Most people, if they move on, first of all, because a lot of people can't, I'm telling you, just because you are no longer in a physical relationship does not mean you have moved on, because you are still psychologically held bound by that person. You're still captured in ethereal realm. It's called soul ties. So though you might cut the physical ties with the person, if your soul is still tied up and wrapped up with that person, you have not moved on successfully. Okay, you have just been engaged in what's called displacement. Okay, displacement has been enacted, but you have not moved on. You have been displaced. So again, moving on, if you can take with, if the only baggage, right, and I don't even want to call it that, but let's just call it that, if the only baggage you can take with you, right, are the lessons, you have successfully moved on. That is your best revenge to move on, where your disposition, right, your mental faculties, right, your emotional stabilization, you're emotionally stable, you're not moving on and looking for somewhere else to go park your misery, or someone else to go park your misery into, right? You are taking steps, right? You're doing a step-by-step detoxification, right? You're detoxing yourself, right? You're taking it one day at a time, and each day you detox a percentage of that negative energy. Because when you go through these breakups, divorces, whatever, I've been through them, like I said, so I know what I'm talking about. You're taking a lot of negative emotions, and those emotions are not in you. See, look, I'm gonna get a little scientific with you guys. We have the body that you can see, the physical body, is a result of what's called coagulation, right? We coagulated, and now we have mass, right? So the physical body you can see is one layer of your body. That's all the physical body is. It's a layer, okay? There are other layers, okay, to who you are. It's called multi-dimensionality of the persona, right? There's a multi-dimensionality of your personality, of your person, right? So you take those toxic entities out of the event. The event is the divorce. It's a long fought out custody battle. It's just a breakup with a boyfriend or a girlfriend that you were in a relationship for 10 years, all right, or 5 years or whatever. So there's a lot invested. You take a tremendous amount of negative energy in your emotional body. Your emotional body is called your auric body. You can't see that body. They have something called a Kirlian photography. It's invented by a scientist by the name of Kirlian. His last name is Kirlian. I forgot his first name. So it's called a Kirlian photography. And it's a device where they can see the body I'm telling you about, which is your emotional body, right? Your etheric body. They can see it, and it's in this camera device. It's projected as a color, and that's why people are called humans, because hue just means a shade. It means color, a shade of color, and man, right? So men are color of man, and that hue it's speaking of your other bodies. You have a mental body, emotional body, and then we have the physical body, right? So there's several layers of your body. And why I only want to say that to say, when you go through an event, you take the energy, the energetic nature, the energetic characteristic, the energetic features, the essence of that energy is attached to these other layers of your bodies. And this is why people break down. This is why people get sick. Physically, you might look okay, but you get sick mentally. This is why so many people suffer from psychological illnesses, right? A lot of people have mental issues. It all stems from what we're discussing here, right? The energetic particles that you're harboring and not knowing you're harboring them. You're harvesting these energetic particles, these negative energy particles. You are constantly harvesting them, right? You're constantly harboring, collecting these negative energy particles. So when we go through events, it doesn't have to be an extreme, but any event, but we're going to keep it in the context of divorces, breakups, and stuff like that, right? When you go through these things, if you don't take the time to thresh out and flush out and detox these negative particles, right, that are being harbored and harnessed in your other energetic entity etheric bodies, your emotional, your psychological, your spiritual. If you don't take the time to detox and to release, like to literally sit down and take step by steps, whether it's meditation, prayer, whether it's, I don't know, you might want to get a self-help book. I like to run. I like to go jog. I like to exercise. I go upstate, climb mountains. Whatever it is you do, people have different things they do to detoxify, to de-stress. Maybe you like to cook. Maybe you like to garden. Maybe you're into fixing things. Whatever. It must be something that does not involve people. It cannot involve another person. But mainly men, I'm talking to my brothers, and mainly another woman, because we know what that is, right? You have to take the time to unwind, unravel, unpack, right? You got to unpack yourself, right? Think of your luggage. You come out of the airport, or you come home with a suitcase or a briefcase, whatever. You open up and you unpack. You have to unpack these negative energetic entity particles. You have to unpack them. You literally have to unravel, unfold, unpack, detoxify yourself of these entities. And in doing this, and if you can do this, the if is a conditional term that expresses doubt. If it's a preposition grammatically, and it's a coordinating no, wait, no, that's but. It's not, I'm sorry. It's in terms of its grammar, it's a conditional phrase which expresses some form of doubt. If you can do something, that means I'm not sure if you'll be able to do it. So again, if you can detox, break down, unpack these energies and get them out of your system, so then and health and come back in a healthy mental, you have a healthy sound psychology, right? Not everybody has a sound state of mind. People when you go through things, traumatic things, most, not all, but a lot come out on the other side worse than when they went in. Understand this and understand as well. You will come out worse of a situation than when you first went in if, again, conditional term, if you don't take the time to unpack, unwind, unravel, detox, and focus on fixing you, right? Focus on fixing you. Like I said, moving on in a healthy and successful way is the best revenge you can get on anyone who has ever done anything to you. Whether they did it unwittingly, unknowingly, consciously, subconsciously, it doesn't matter. Directly, indirectly, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if you can successfully recoup your psychology, your mental. I don't care about money. This is why I say success in a form of materialism is the dumbest form of revenge. I don't care about money. I'm being dead serious. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care how much houses, how much cars. Let me tell you something. I'm mature now, right? Like every day by day, I'm growing mature, getting more and more mature. Finances, your money, that means not a damn thing, okay? You got a lot of rich people who are fucking, man, these people pop all kind of pills just to sleep at night. These people are living on Adderall and all kind of medication, right? Just to keep their mind in somewhat of a healthy range, right? But they got all the money in the world, right? Money is great, but money does not define me, and it doesn't define you, and it won't fix you, right? I tell people this all the time. If you're rich, all that means is that you're gonna get a better funeral than me. You know what I'm saying? All that means you're going to lay in a better hospital. Your hospital bed is going to be better than mine. But that's all that means. You get what I'm saying? Your state of mind is way more precious and wealthy and way more, necessary than money. So make sure you take care of your state of mind, folks. Make sure you take care of you so that you can contribute to a society something better than you found. Till next time, Mark here, cooking books, bringing info, peace.